Greetings everyone, update 30.2 is live in Warframe on PC, and this gives us Tennogen round 20 part 2. The Warframe skins included with this round are the Baruch Blade of the Lotus skin by Beastbuster, the Baruch Zamaru skin by LED 2012 and Damon Star, Frost Strigid skin by Wreckage, Korok Rax by Favin, the Nidus Cavale Scrounger skin by Ernix, and the Atlas Blade of the Lotus skin by Beastbuster. As for the armor pieces, there is the Asaki Blade of the Lotus shoulder armor by Beastbuster and the Kishikami Blade of the Lotus chest armor by Beastbuster. For the Signdanas, there is the Aropenic Signdana by Kakarot 2812 and the Shiraku Blade of the Lotus Signdana by Beastbuster. One alternate Warframe helmet, and that goes to Korra, and that's the Fira helmet by Debbie Sheen and Crackle 2012. For weapon skins, there's the Ion Sword skin by Yadis and Hugo Polo, the Yudiat Serpent Machete skin by Volbjorn the Graphical Walrus, and the Yamex Tonfa skin by Kakarot 2812. That is Tennogen round 20 part 2's contents included with this update. As for the new Warframe augments added with this update, the first is for Wisp, called Fused Reservoir. It's an Exilus mod and it adds a fourth reservoir that gives the effects of all three. It costs 200% more energy. You can acquire it from the new Loka and Cephalon Suitor. Then there's Grendel, Hearty Nourishment. It's for Nourish, Clear Status, and gain 2-second status immunity for each victim in Grendel's stomach. You can acquire it from the Red Veil and Steel Meridian Syndicate. Protea, Repair Dispensary. It is an Exilus mod for Dispensary. Hold to create a dispensary that will revive the Sentinel or Companion Moa of a player within 14 meters every 60 seconds. You can pick it up at the Arbiters of Hexus and the Perrin sequence. Lastly, the fourth one is for Zephyr, Airburst rounds. It's for Airburst. Each enemy hit by Airburst increases secondary damage by 25% for 14 seconds. You can pick it up from the Red Veil and New Loka Syndicate. As for the game's overall changes, DE removes Sevagoth's Gloom effects applying to Sentinels due to too much visual noise. They swap game modes of Kelpie and Kappa on Sedna, so it's gone from Disruption to Spy and Spy to Disruption. This moves Disruption off the main path forward to aid in the new player experience. They also disabled Sevagoth's Shadow being able to pick up stolen weapons, with a note that this addresses stolen weapons picked up by Sevagoth's Shadow not being returned. And lastly, they changed the Uranus Junction goal text for find caches to the correct amount, that being 3. Moving on, Wreckage Quality of Life. Tenno are currently limited to holding 30 pieces of Railjack Wreckage. Wreckage limits as they currently stand can impact the flow of Railjack missions. If you are one to play long sessions of Railjack missions in a row, you might have experienced this yourself. You cannot play missions until you manage your inventory. To prevent the interruption of having to scrap Wreckage every few missions, Wreckage is changing in a fundamental way. All Wreckage of the same type, as an example Zetki Mark III engines, will exist in one pool, without taking up scrap Wreckage slots. If you wish to use the Wreckage for repairs, fusion, etc., you will be able to identify the Wreckage to move it from that pool, taking up a scrap Wreckage slot. The unique characteristics of that Wreckage will be revealed upon identification. This way, you can continue to gather these resources in the background as you play and choose how to use them once you're back in your dry dock. Now, they did go over a little breakdown, and I will be covering it since I don't play Railjack. So, let's break this down a bit. You and your crew are ready to return to the dry dock after planet hopping in your Railjack. Along the way, you've collected a handful of recovered Wreckage. Wreckage with no unique stats yet. Back in the dry dock, you notice a new icon and option in the Components Armament section titled Scrap Recovered Wreckage. Here contains the recovered Wreckage you just earned that has yet to be inspected. Here you can own an infinite number of recovered Wreckage which are nicely bundled together by their types. Levan, Talon, Mark I, etc. These possess no unique stats in this state until you choose to inspect them. In the recovered Wreckage screen, you can easily scrap at a glance. You see a reactor in your recovered Wreckage that piques your curiosity. What are the unique stats? Back in the component screen, you locate your recovered reactor and choose to inspect it to discover its unique stats. This action is free and immediate. Once inspected, you can choose to either repair, scrap, or continue to add it to your Wreckage inventory. Please note that logic for assigning unique stats remains unchanged. For example, Mark I armaments didn't possess unique stats before this change, and they still won't. Once you've reached the max wreckage, that being 30 out of 30, you'll notice that recovered wreckage can no longer be inspected until you free up space in your wreckage inventory. While you may be at the wreckage limit, this no longer impacts your gameplay, as all wreckage earned while on Railjack missions is put into your infinite recovered wreckage inventory. So that is the change there. As for the Railjack changes and fixes, DE have added the crew screen to hide all UI elements for those wanting to get a screenshot of your lineup. They've improved the visual effects in the Corpus Railjack Defense tile set, and they have improved enemy pacing in the Corpus Railjack Exterminate missions to feel more appropriate for the tile set size and difficulty. As for those fixes, DE fixed a functionality loss when using the Omni tool to recall and use the Arcwing Slingshot at the same time. They fixed a client crash related to the host recalling out of the Corpus Freight Linker, a crash when being punted back to the operator in the Orfix game mode, early cruise ship meltdowns not swapping the player inside back to their Warframe before booting them to space, which could result in a slew of issues when punted out as the operator. They fixed a possible crash when firing the Railjack forward artillery, an inability to start a Railjack mission from navigation in a relay that doesn't have a dry dock, entering the Orbiter Railjack console as the operator, resulting in a second Warframe mesh appearing and animations and context actions breaking. They fixed spamming X while attempting to exit the Railjack as the operator, resulting in the screen turning black and keeping you inside the Railjack. Reactant pickups lingering after each squad mate had collected the full amount during a Void Storm mission. Inaru's Wisp buff not applying in Railjack missions, crew members missing their heads when viewed in the turret and missing any attachments you added. They fixed another case where crew members were invisible when joining in progress. Fixed again, Sevagoth not going into the shadow form after death if Sevagoth previously died in Arcwing, a case where you could see Sevagoth's death well during the sleeping in the cold below phase of the Call of the Tempestarii quest. They fixed the crew contracts button moving around at different aspect ratios and numerous script errors that could occur during a Void Storm. As for the game's optimizations, DE made dramatic optimizations to the interception HUD, roughly 10 times faster, made systemic micro-optimizations to core gameplay code by refactoring data visualization systems to eliminate more code in retail builds, made numerous systemic micro-optimizations to the UI and HUD code, and improved stability for systems using outdated Razer Chroma drivers. As for the game's overall fixes with 30.2, DE fixed a rare case of being stuck on the day 950 daily tribute, a functionality loss when using the controller D-pad while viewing a completed quest diorama, the Cambion Drift Isolation Vault bounty to destroy the tumors not progressing until everyone and the necromechs leave the radius. They fixed an inability to interact with the helmet if the incubator is in use with imprints, an inability to sell limbo blueprints if you have multiples, an inability to deactivate Ivara's Artemis bow or swap weapons after throwing a spear gun weapon. They fixed the Demolisher Devourer struggling to turn their bodies, which caused them to not properly pass towards the conduit, an inability to select the first Void Fissure entry when opening the World State window to the Alerts tab, then switching to Void Fissures. They fixed low particle system quality, resulting in almost invisible magnetic anomalies in sabotage missions, Zephyr's abilities being blocked if Vile Rush via helmet is cast while your melee was equipped, credits collected with a necromech not counting towards Nightwave daily acts, credits picked up for the first time not counting towards the Saver Nightwave act, friendly specters not regenerating their shields after hitting 0 shields. They fixed not moving down in Arcwing when pressing LB on controller while holding the Trank rifle, the ability to escape the cold below Captura scene using Operator Void Dash or Arcwing, cases of sentinels using their precepts while invisible against semi-alerted enemies, the ability to transmute veiled Riven mods, which led to a broken screen when playing in non-English. They fixed operator focus changes not applying when done in the simulacrum until you exit and re-enter the simulacrum, Zanuka's missile attack waiting until after the animation to start firing missiles, the Sergeant sniper rifle has too long of a delay between shots, the HUD customization list not scrolling all the way to the bottom. They fixed the Trumna stock icon in Father's Wares depicting that it's a prime stock and not a standard stock, missing Vor taunts when hovering over the toll stock node. They fixed the disconnected tube on Anaros' Ozymandias helmet, Korra's helmet spikes not dissolving and hiding like her body spikes do, the shape at the bottom of the moat cocoon for Wisp's reservoir not being correctly colored to match the moat type, having a menu open while Sevagoth's shadow expires resulting in the menu being mini-sized. They fix Kuva Lich finisher sounds when in Sevagoth's shadow, the Sevagoth tombstone form fan art by Zeronis not displaying properly when used as a display. They fix the Armoros Europa node reading Crossfire Grineer versus Infested, however it is a Corpus node. Incorrect icons for the Zephyr Agile animation set in the market, rare cases of acquired mods being cut off in the UI, missing synchronized NPC glows during the We All Live Together cinematic, wrong localized description for Sevagoth's Agile animation, and then we have DE fixing a harmless script error that could occur for clients with a poor network connection joining a mission with a Bone Widow using their Exalted Iron Bride, harmless script errors that could occur in the Investigate the Area bounty stage if you died, disconnected, or host migrated while investigating a corpse, a harmless script error that could occur if you left the Cambion Drift at the precise moment an infested ancient performed a knockdown and grab attack, a harmless script error that could occur when aborting Find the Capture Target in open zone missions, a harmless script error that could occur when joining an open zone mission while someone was mining, a harmless script error that could occur if there was a host migration at the wrong time during a Detonate the K-Bomb mission, and lastly DE fixed a harmless script error that could occur when disconnecting from a survival mission. That was 30.2 Tennogen Round 20 Part 2, and of course those 4 new Augment mods, and many of Railjack fixes, game fixes, and the Wreckage system change. Thanks for watching, and there is your notice. Bye.